even with this right here, Freaknik is a large part of my story when I put the freak in Freaknik. And so you had to do it in a unique way, because if you did it, if we did this story a certain type of way, in this life that we live in right now, we'll probably all be in jail.
Now, did Uncle Luke ruin Freaknik and change the HBCU proper picnic of what they were trying to do? They were trying to be the DC people that couldn't afford to go home, was trying to create this brilliant and nice space, and the Greeks were stepping, and there was barbecue, and there was food, and then came, let me see you. And then it came.
I would say he enhanced it. I wouldn't say he ruined it.
Yeah.
You having a party in Atlanta, and it's called Freaknik, I got to be the ambassador.
That's right.
Basically, this was, at the time when I went, it was the height of my career, our career, the controversy, going to jail, doing all these different things. And then I hear about this little party going on in Atlanta called Freaknik. So then when I heard it, I thought it was a freak party. Real talk. I need to be there. I'm the king of freakiness. I got to go show my face in this joint. You feel me? And then at the end of the day, we went there and did that. Plus some, shot videos and all these different things, and come to find out later on down the line, it was like, no, it wasn't that type of party. It was some people out there with little teepees and their little, candles and all that. They were trying to have a little Greek thing, and before you know it, I put the freak in.
Yeah. All right, so if you actually watch it, I think DJ Envy, he started asking a real question.
Yeah.
He saw the reactions, turned it into I'm not really. No, he actually did kind of affect the outcome of Freaknik. I believe it shut down eventually because of his influence.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What did you think about the documentary? Was it what you thought? What did you think about it?
It wasn't what I thought. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, but it was educating to me. You know what I mean? Like, I learned about the origins, didn't know about the origins, the people who started it, the reason why. All of that was just interesting to me. I only knew about the parts that, the real thing that I took away from Freaknik was the parking lot party. That was when I went to experience it. That's all it was.
So just in case you weren't here last time, Ryan was at Freaknik a couple times.
Yeah, a bunch of people on cars, just playing their music and doing whatever. Like, that's all I experienced.
So this whole year, everybody, there was a lot of people afraid that they were going to end up in the documentary because they were out at Freaknik. By the time I heard about Freaknik, it was already done. Freaky Luke. Freaknik. I didn't know about a healthier Freaknik.
I didn't either.
So just in case you don't know and you don't watch this, and you don't have to, please don't. Because it's still a little ratchet.
Raw and uncut.
Essentially, it was supposed to be like a black Greek, not necessarily Greek, but mostly Greek, spring break, kind of not festival, but a hangout for people who couldn't afford to go back home. And the name, which was interesting, was Freaknik, was a combination of Le Freak by Chic, a song that if you don't know what I'm talking about, and Picnic. Of course, the origins of Picnic, pick a Negro, right? To hang, right? So they tried to kind of rebrand it as this new thing, right?
We gotta stop using that word.
You didn't know that?
You didn't know that?
You didn't know that about Picnic?
Pick a Negro to hang, right? So
you gotta change the name of it.
So and then there's some people saying that may not be true and all that, but that's how we know it is right now. The song Le Freak, this is what we were in the break, we were kind of hinting at this. The song Le Freak by Chic came about because was it Grace Jones invited Chic to the 54? Is it 54? Studio 54, right? It's a famous disco club, right?
In New York.
They got invited and they were supposed to perform, but the bouncer wouldn't let them in. He said F off. Told him to get out the line, F off. So the actual first name of the song was F off. And because they couldn't curse on the radio, it eventually merged into Le Freak.
Freak off.
Freak out.
Freak out.
So that's where that's what they pulled the inspiration from. And combined it with Picnic.
But what they said was the song was popular, right?
And at that time.
Which song? The Freak was popular.
Not at that time.
Well, no.
I don't know about that time.
No.
They like
late 70s, early 80s, but that happened in 84.
Right,
so this group of kids from the DC Metro Club who couldn't afford to go to where other people were going for spring break decided to stay in Atlanta. They were going to the HBCU, and they said they liked the song La Freak.
Yeah.
And it was a dance at the time, so they were like, let's combine the song and let people know there's going to be dancing.
So originally it had nothing to do with the freaky connotation.
Yeah.
So then that's true. It was just a hangout. People did stuff.
And the first one looked cool. I was like, oh snap.
The first one was like something we were playing.
Part.
You know,
Yeah,
so nothing crazy about it, right? Over time, it got more and more popular.
Yeah.
And then this is where I feel the documentary gave mixed messages.
Yeah.
Especially Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah.
Every time they got to the point where they were like, this actually started turning bad. It was a little rapey a little bit, you know? He would be like, they want us to think we're rapey. It's like, no, man. Like, hold on. They were raping people. You know? Like, there's this mixed message of...
The story of the young lady, man, was...
It was terrible. I feel like I've met her before. But
I do too. I felt like
she looks familiar.
But she looks like Dina Martin.
She does not to me.
Yeah, she does.
I know what Dina Martin looks like. She does not look like
she looks like Dina Martin.
But it was a mixed message of... This was good for our culture, and it was terrible.
But you know, what's so funny? I feel like all the old school rappers want the Luke version back.
Yeah,
when they talk about it,
when they reminisce.
Yeah, they talking about the Luke version.
But that's what got it shut down.
Yeah,
that's what caused the problem.
Yeah.
They don't reminisce on just hang out party.
Yeah.
Most of the people,
especially men,
they came there to see girls.
Yeah,
right. And for a while, it was like a mixture of like the beginnings of sin. You know, like when you start letting sin in, right? It's like, okay, girls are shaking over here. Okay, a little girl. Guys are kind of, it's like you let it go.
Yeah.
And then that festers and festers and festers until it becomes just complete chaos.
But it was a part in it when I think a young lady or a woman, she was talking about how women try to take control of their sexuality and say, hey, let me see this, let me see that. But that didn't last long.
What was crazy to me was three things popped out. When at the very beginning,
I didn't know what you said.
Three things popped out.
No did.
At the very beginning, I felt guilt and shame when this happened too. At the very beginning, Jalen Rose was like, "I hope this is what heaven looks like. This is what heaven looks like."
And that was like 93.
Then we're good to go.
94.
And I was like, "Ooh, that hurt." Right. The second thing was when they talked about Freaknik on a different world. I think that's when it became blue. Because then they said 150,000 college students started coming from all across the globe.
But their version of Freaknik was
let's go see some girls.
Well, not the different world era, because that was like that time when that episode was like 80s, late 80s. So their version was still chilling out. We get the rappers coming to
but that was part of it though.
Like that.
Bobby Brown,
that was part of it though. Even in church culture, like even back in Destinations days, it was we gonna see some girls there, and girls are like, oh, we gonna meet some guys. Like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, inherently. Like, it's when it turns into just I want to see girls. Yeah, you're not trying to meet somebody to like build a life with. You're just going to look at them, touch them, and move on. That's when it's turned a little bit like a little devious to me.
And I heard the young lady's testimony where she was like, we come down here and we do things we hope our parents never find out about. We throw our ambitions to the wind. Back home, you don't want the person that you do something with to be the person you see at the grocery store next week, or like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, you don't know these people, so you can be a little bit more risque because you don't know who's watching you and this, that, and the other.
I do believe it's a pre-Freaknik, Luke pre-Freaknik, and then it's an after Luke.
I definitely know it is, because I was here in that era, and I never thought that way. I just thought this was a place for me to come for college. I don't have to pay thousands of dollars to go to try to go somewhere else. I can go home. I can bring my friends home, and all the traffic stops in the street, and you just meet people. It's just like being on the hill. Every college has a hill.
So did you go to college in Atlanta, or did you travel to get here?
No, I am a bulldog. I traveled to go back to come home, but I brought friends home with me from New York, from New Jersey, from all different parts. They all stayed at my house, and we just all went and dressed up to be parked in the street and dance to meet people. We didn't go.
You had friends all around the globe. Like
I had friends all around the globe at Alabama and A&M University.
When I was in college, I didn't know anybody outside of college.
Oh no! I was internationally known. I could have been I could have been rapping on the microphone, but at the end of the day, we just came to simply have a good, clean fun with other college kids.
You know what? The part that I remember I mentioned that there was a part in there that drew me into like an Instagram social media spot. Outkast dropped their debut album right before Freaknik, and they said they made all these cassettes. Everybody's in the parking lot.
Can't move.
They're playing your music. Yeah. You blow up.
So I think unfortunately the name is what attracted people like Luke.
Yeah,
even if it didn't have that meaning at the beginning, it just became that because that's what freak means to that generation. If it was Sweet Auburn Festival, if it was something else, nobody would have thought anything of it. It's because the name. I don't know if freak had to have meant freak back then too, right?
Nah, that song like The Freaks Come Out at Night. It's talking about the people who were considered weird or outcast.
What about Super Freak?
No, that was out.
Super
that
Freak
been
was out. Yeah.
That had been. I think when I heard Freaknik, that's what I thought it was.
I still think he was a freak, but I think it was more
Rick
like,
James was talking about freaks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And not outcast freaks. Freaks that you
but that word,
very freaky
it wasn't like it was
a
brand new meaning after that. Like it was there. It was in the culture.
But I think they try to the people who ran it, who started it originally, probably was thinking like it's not gonna get to what he's gonna take it to.
Yeah.
They probably thought like, hey, it's something for black, cool name for black kids to come to in college.
It's just an unfortunate name.
It's an unfortunate name. Yeah. I felt so bad for those people when I was watching the documentary. I was like, wow, do you know how much you're responsible for? Like, you picking the wrong name is responsible for so many bad things.
Do you think it still would have been as big if it wasn't called Freaknik though? Isn't that what, whether they meant it or not, isn't that kind of what sparked a lot of people being like, what is that about? What's going on down there?
I think the name is messed it up. You could have called it,
but
if you would call it like the AU Center Fest, it wouldn't have gotten that big.
That's what I'm saying.
It wouldn't have gotten that big.
The Freak it was a mystery about that.
The Freak brought out the non-college kids.
That's what draw people.
They were like, it was 45-year-old men down here.
At least by the time that's before I got to Atlanta. When did you get here?
Like 99.
So we came after Freaknik was over, but I had heard about it, and it was always in negative connotation.
I think the first time I heard about it was Little Kim.
You know what else was bad about Freaknik? You know what else was bad about Freaknik?
Freak was known in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying?
No, not really.
What was bad about
in the 90s?
Yeah, you did in the 90s.
It was a different freak than what it is today. Freaky.
Nah, it just enhanced.
But freaky came along with hickeys. You might be freaky if you had hickeys. You know what I'm saying? But not doing what you doing.
Hitting home runs.
Yeah.
But the sad part about it is like seeing 21 Savage trying to redo it, or all these people trying to redo it.
Here.
And I'm glad. I mean, I don't like Kenny Burns like that, but I'm glad what he said. Like, leave it alone. It's done.
Yeah. Leave that alone. It's done. Let that thing die.
But again,
that was awful.
What's unfortunate about it are the people that thrived in it, the JDs and all those people. What they loved about it was the stuff we're saying is what killed it.
Yeah.
It's not like they were like, we got to get it back to where it was clean.
Well,
no, they still love the butts in the face, the girls getting naked, guys touching girls. Like that's the part they loved.
I think the part they loved was the fact that it was a outlet for their music to be displayed.
No,
seriously.
We're going right back to what we did earlier.
They said it.
He tried philosophy.
No. I think honestly, they said it put Atlanta artists on the map.
But they got put on the map because guys wanted to come see girls.
Well,
naked.
that's the part that I'm saying the artists themselves weren't in control of. It was just a great. It was almost like having the Woodstock. It's like having Woodstock in your city and you don't have to pay anything to put it on. It just comes to you.
Fell to the same problems.
It did.
Free love, sex in the street.
It was awful. But what I'm saying for JD and for So Def, it was we got 100,000 plus people coming that we can market music to just by being there.
But Ryan, he's not talking about that. When they talk about when JD, Luke, everybody talk about I miss the Freaknik. They ain't talking about
I'm gonna ignore that part.
I'm talking about.
I'm saying it's all about music.
You're trying to be politically.
But even the music they were promoting back then was about freaks.
Players Ball, like they were saying, like you
tore that bass music.
Do you know what Players Ball is about?
Keezy Rock, Raheem the Dream.
Wait.
I'm from the same area.
Do you know what Players Ball is about?
Yeah.
Do you know what
Players Ball? I know it's
music. I'm a Nasty.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I don't think the college kids thought anything about it. It was something good. It was something wholesome. It was some place that you can meet other people. I was 95. You can meet people from other HBCUs.
See, 97.
I was there in 95. It was ratchet then.
But I was there in 92. I was there in 92.
Oh yeah, 92 was.
And at the end of the day, I wanted to see other black college kids like myself doing what we thought was good things, not in a bad way, but our parents wasn't around. I mean, back then smoking weed was bad, but now you have parents who smoke weed with their kids right now.
Yeah,
you know, you just don't do that. Yeah, a whole nother subject.
So it sounded like when you went, it was still like the wholesome event.
There were pockets.
It was pockets. It was nice. It was. We didn't even think about the origin of the name.
Was there a different mentality for guys versus girls going? Because I didn't know not one guy that was going just hanging out.
It was the part that was crazy to me was when they were like, we came with no ideas of a hotel. We were just here on the streets. Like, come on, you gotta go sleep at some point.
They come with a camcorder. You like, what do you? You coming for a reason.
Man, dude, girls twerking, bro. Dudes got it on their mind, bro.
Well, we didn't even call it twerking back then. We wasn't twerking.
I'm talking about we went that time, like 97. That was toward the end of it, I guess.
I mean, we thought we was doing something big. We was downstairs in the basement cutting up our jeans, trying to make the strings.
Before twerking, we don't call it booty shaking.
Yeah, booty shaking.
Yeah.
You shaking your booty for a man.
Get all this out.
It's gonna get guys.
They gonna have it on their mind. That's just what it is.
Yeah. I'm definitely not saying that it wasn't a problem, because it definitely was. But what I'm saying is, like, I will say this too. It's happened again. Facebook started off that way. It was a college thing. It was a college thing, and then they were like, oh, this is gonna have the ability to make money. Let's open this up to everybody. The one thing I was really remembering, the one thing it really brought me back to was how much the Atlanta city mayors were in charge or in favor of Freaknik.
Until the Olympics.
Right, until the Olympics. But then also, until they started getting all the complaints
about the street getting shut down.
Because they were saying how much money it brought in.
I think the lesson for me from watching it is, even in your own life, you have to watch for the foxes, right? The Bible calls foxes. Right. There were little foxes entering the space that were corrupting it. The Lukes, even JD, took advantage. There were certain little influences that were like, I'm gonna take advantage of this, or I'm gonna introduce my philosophy into this. And it wasn't positive, and people let it go. It kept getting worse and worse, and it festered and turned into cancer, and they had to get destroyed.
What you think was happening at the rim shop that didn't sell any rims?
Oh man, that's Illuminati.
That threw me off. I was like,
that's the Illuminati.
They were like, T.I. was there, Usher was there, and I was like, but there's a rim shop.
I think decisions.
And then one dude was like, Jalen Rose was like, was it Jalen Rose?
He slept there.
I slept there, and I'm, what is going on in the rim
shop? Decisions were being
shop?
made in that room. I guarantee it.
With drugs being processed.
No, I don't. I think it's decisions. It's like, this is gonna happen here. You're gonna take this, and we're gonna make this movement happen here. We're gonna take advantage of such and such. If we put a concert here, I think it's strategy. I think they were strategizing.
Talking.
And being around a whole lot of testosterone, and I'm the only woman at the table, know that just because you want to look good, you want to shake your booty, or maybe you want to wear some short shorts and maybe a bra top, that doesn't mean you want to get groped. That doesn't mean And no means no. And maybe I just want attention from that for that day, and I just want to have fun.
And that's the part that I was like, I see why they're trying to sue for this not to come out, because the cameras, the videos, the pictures, all of that is just free exposure to.
They didn't really show nothing though. Like
they showed enough.
They showed a lot.
But what I'm saying is of like people out and about. Like you wouldn't, unless it wasn't like. I think because it wasn't a long documentary that you didn't see enough footage of stuff like that.
It was a lot.
So what I'm saying, it wasn't like, yo, that's such and such, that's such and such. You know what I'm saying?
But the only warning I say is, the only warning against that, yes, of course, that when it got to that point, it was beyond forgivable.
Yeah.
But the signs of that start with I just want to show my butt. I just want to touch a butt. I just want to film a butt.
Yeah.
And that's the seeds of the sin happening right there, right? So
like she was saying,
you let that go, and then it turns into people just taking it.
Yeah, you can dress like that, and no man has a right to touch a woman to do whatever. A woman can dress how she want to dress. She has that right. But you gotta know that when you do that, you're gonna attract. It's a good chance you attracting the
Unwanted
wrong
attention.
type of attention.
And it's not
just gonna happen.
it's not that individual woman. It's the city. It's the culture. You allow that stuff in, and you excuse things. It's going to attract a certain mentality towards the city that is not good for the city, your body, your soul, your life. Just watch out for the ones that the little decisions that seem innocent enough, but they're the seeds of something bigger.
I noticed the reaction was some girls would walk by and a guy would reach his hand out and they would just look back and be like, okay. But then there were some girls that would slap hands down, right? That was the difference between it becoming, this is what I choose to do versus what someone else is trying to get them to do.
But it's too late by that point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, alcohol in the people been drinking.
If you allow the seemingly innocent stuff for too long, it turns into that.
And the ratio, it looked like it was way more guys than women.
Because grown men, started coming down here.
Because you're like, oh, that's what's going on?
And then what we talking about, and the reason why I said Luke kind of made this thing worse is because he did a music video back in the day, and it was like, it said in one of the scenes, it said Freaknik 91, and people were like, yo, and this is when they started showing Two Live Crew and Luke, and like on television.
It got rebranded. And when it got rebranded as Freak, then it's like, it don't matter what your intentions are anymore. That's what's coming. That's what's coming from here on out. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tan, and DJ Jeremiah. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? I hope you liked that video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Trackstarz Universe. In the meantime, continue to watch our channel by clicking on this next video right now.